couple worm-like creatures.
And they come across a goblin that is charging them.
She sees it start to lift up off the air.
Happy hour!
Hey!
Hey, yeah, see, I get a little response for that one. Playing. We don't want to play.
Like what? Playing D&D? Yeah.
Oh my! Well, welcome in.
Already like halfway through here, practically.
Got a head start on us.
Mm.
Welcome in, everyone, to another Hit Points Not Required happy hour, where we enjoy some tasty beverages, talk a lot of nonsense, and why Rook whacked himself on the head today, and then get around to eventually talking some TTRPG stuff. Welcome in, everybody. How are you doing today, Rook? Fantastic. Violet, what's going on with you?
Nothing.
All right, yes.
Not
we need
much.
to drink more.
Yeah.
We got no complaints, no nothing. Well, welcome in. Before we really get rolling, we will have some nonsense. Don't worry about that. But before we really get rolling, Violet, we have a new charity on the board this week. Can you share with the folks what we are raising money for?
Yes. So our charity for this month is North Carolina Counts Coalition. They are obviously located in North Carolina, and they work with local partners in many different counties in North Carolina, and in particular right now are putting their efforts and their funds towards hurricane relief. Right now, the donations that you provide to North Carolina Counts, 100% goes directly to hurricane relief in the areas hit hardest by Hurricane Helene. So please help them out and donate what you can.
Yay! Or yay, relief. Boo, Helene.
Boo, hurricanes.
That's pretty much
Unless
the way
you
we
mean
roll
the
around
drink, because it is happy hour, so we support those kinds of hurricanes.
Drinks, yes, we should have made hurricanes. That would that might have been like a little too much.
It's in poor taste.
Yeah, that may have been a little too far. Yeah. But anyway, it has been several weeks since we have last talked to y'all, because we had a 2-part episode that I think went really well. Nice actual play there. There was some good playing, some good rolling, and a lot of fun to be had by all. So anybody that hasn't checked that out, please go and check it out. You can find that on our YouTube. You can find that still up on our Twitch for another few hours yet. At any rate, part 1 will soon be disappearing there. But you might also be noticing that down there in the carousel, it's not just the... You all right? Is the drink okay?
The drink is completely fine. Just smack the microphone.
Yeah, no, the microphone, we don't care about that. As long as the drink's okay.
Yes, we're good.
Down there, in the place where usually we just say, hey, join our Discord and come hang out with us, we have a carousel rotating, talking about our giveaways, and we are really excited. We're trying to expand our reach a little bit. We are trying to make some new friends. That's what we really want. We are calling it the Rook is Muted giveaway. No, we are calling it the Road to 1,000 Friends. And we have speak. You talk, speak. Can the chat hear you? Well, tell us that Rook is talking. So if you can't hear us, tell us again that Rook is muted. But yes, in the carousel, we have a few teases. We are giving away a few things as we are hoping to grow to 1,000 people in the community that enjoy hearing us talk about nonsense. And Rook is still muted. We want more friends that will help us out and tell us when they can't hear us. That's a very
we really
important
need.
thing.
That's a very important job.
Only our dearest friends will let us know when we are talking and they can't hear us. Rook, how about now? Can you talk? Well, it'll be a quiet night from Rook. Nobody really wants to hear what Rook has to say anyway. They're just looking there for the cat. It's all about the hat. Anyway, like I was saying,
so rude.
Like I was saying, in that carousel down there, you'll see things like stone coasters, slate coasters. We have dice from the Misty Mountain Gaming dice shop. We have a couple of sets of dice, metal dice, hollow metal dice that make cool
I
noises.
love metal dice.
I hate
too,
metal
dice
dice.
person.
Really?
I
Why?
can't stand them.
Good thing you're
because
muted.
Nobody can hear you say that you don't like
That's
metal
not
dice.
true. I'm
because
pretty
that's
sure
an
they can hear me
unpopular
now.
opinion.
Pretty sure they can hear us now. Though I hate them because they damage tabletops, and I like making furniture.
Well,
and
that's what you
things.
need a dice tray for.
Right?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, you know what else comes with that metal dice in the metal dice package from Misty Mountain Gaming?
Hammers?
No hammers. No hammers, no heads. But Violet, do you have a guess?
Could it be a dice tray?
It is indeed a dice tray. There will be dice and a dice tray. We have other exciting giveaways, including plushies. We might throw Iris here in there. That might be a giveaway. We definitely have a journal signed by the one, the only Brennan Lee Mulligan. That will be that'll be in there. And all you have to do in order to get entered is follow us, show us love. All our socials are up there. We have a beacons in that carousel. All our socials are up there. The more socials you follow, the more chances you have to win. The commenting on our posts and liking our stuff, participating in the chat here on the Twitch live streams, that will get you in. And maybe when we give a giveaway and you get a shirt, you will choose a happy hour shirt. Like Rook's Lawn. We do have a special design commemorating the now
You didn't
complete...
show that one last week.
Nope, I did not. And I am not showing it now either.
Secret special design.
Yeah. We got to ask. We got to request for that. The commemorating the now completed saga of Rook's Lawn. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, 2024 edition.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, but Rook has bigger problems to do with, bigger fish to fry. In the meantime, the lawn is now small potatoes. What are you dealing with now, Rook? Anything interesting?
Concussion.
Okay, yes, that sounds important. Are you out for the next game? Or are you? What's the?
Oh no!
What's the injury status?
I have no injured reserve.
Can you tell the people about how you came to be concussed this evening?
Oh, I don't think I have a concussion. Far from it. I picked a hammer up off a table and it just kept coming and coming, like in my hand. My hand just went woo, and I hit myself in the head with a hammer.
Hammerhead. That is what we shall name you from now on. No longer Rook. It is Hammerhead.
Like the Hammerhead Harpies.
Right?
Hammerhead Harpies, a reference to watch out for in our upcoming House Wheel review.
Ooh, they were some pretty young ladies.
My favorite.
Oh my. But yeah, I don't know whether that was a possession or a subconscious thing or whatever, but we hope that you get some Excedrin and you feel better soon.
And get some rest.
Yeah, sleep. Sleep is always good.
That's on the books for sure. Interesting anecdote about harpies. Remember DM Jack Wainwright?
Our Dark Legion game.
The game that I play with him, there is an ongoing harpy problem in the area. and my
I mean,
character
define problem.
presence, a harpy
Okay.
presence.
Right? Okay.
And
Harpy rights. Are we advocating for harpy rights in
Yes.
this
Mhm.
campaign?
I don't believe so. I think we're advocating for extermination. However, we have not seen that come to pass yet. But in that game, my character, who has fairly high mental saves across the board, right? We've probably encountered these things like 4 times, and I've failed every single harpy charm save ever. And so it's kind of this ongoing joke with that crew that
Can't resist it.
old Rook can't resist the wiles of the harpies.
Truth.
Nor should you, to be honest.
Yeah. You know.
Maybe they just want to hang out.
Right? Have you tried talking to them?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Several times.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's all we really want. Just
Or
open lines of
at
communication.
least I have tried catcalling them several times. I don't know that. I don't know
Oh, that might be your problem.
Yeah, we might
conversation.
need to redefine your definition of talking to.
I mean, that's what the harpy song does, right?
Makes you catcall them? I mean, man, I'm gonna have to go check that. Check
Yeah,
that
go
game
check
on,
the monster manual there.
If you fail your save, you must immediately and incessantly catcall and
Shout from a
whistle
car
at
window.
harpies.
As you pass.
The best part was the first time we ever encountered him. I was the only, I'm playing a warlock in that campaign. I'm sorry, I'm playing a priest in that campaign that happens to be a warlock. And I'm the only person in the whole party that has a reliable ranged attack. And they were flying around trying to charm us, swooping in with flyby attacks and things like that. I'm like, Lonnie, hey, let's just go over here. And I'm walking away from the rest of them. They're like, where are you going? I mean, she's looking pretty good over here. I'm headed that way. Good times.
Oh my.
And there's our barbarian sitting down there raging, wishing he had something to throw. He's like, can I pick up a rock? Can I pick up a rock?
It's called an improvised weapon, and you can always do it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pick up a rook and throw him? Indeed.
Maybe. Well, that is much more exciting than I was expecting concussion talk to lead us into and down that road.
Sorry to disappoint. I'll go back to bringing the energy level way down.
You're good. I just was not expecting concussion to harpy, but I really should have. That just seems like a natural progression there. Violet, did you have anything interesting going on this week?
I truly do not.
Good talk.
Just
good
work
talk.
as usual.
Next time, can I give you a homework assignment? So you get 2 weeks now. Make something interesting up so that you have it to share.
I have a fact. I have an interesting fact I learned about.
Okay.
I can tell you about. Okay. And now, Clouds in the chat, I think you might be from the UK and you might think I'm stupid American for only just now finding out about this. But okay, so there's this boat called the SS Richard Montgomery. It is a U.S. boat that shipwrecked off the coast of England during World War II, and it's still there because it is absolutely filled to the fucking brim with explosives. It was carrying a load of munitions, not musicians.
Musician.
Munitions.
Or musicians tied to munitions.
But it's got something like 1,400 tons of explosives in this ship. And it is like close enough to shore. Like you can see the mast sticking up out of the water. And it's still there today. It is still there currently at this time, filled with explosives, super dangerous, could destroy Kent at any time. It is definitely going to blow up at some point. Like, it just is. And they just are like, well, just don't go near it and keep your fingers crossed. Like, it's absurd. It's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard of.
Well, that sounds like the U.S. to be quite.
It's a U.S. ship,
Right.
but it's off the coast of England, and it's England that's trying to manage it.
The U.S. essentially took a big dump in the backyard of the UK and said, we're not going to clean it up. We don't need no point in it's just too dangerous and too whatever to clean this up. We'll just leave it over there and be messy about it.
It's insane. It's I can't get over it. It's one of the most I had to immediately look up everything about it. The first thing I heard about it, I was like, this can't be real. It's real. And in the last few years, they've been trying to remove the masts because they're starting to degrade. Like the whole ship is degrading, obviously. It's been there for like 70 plus years.
And it
And
must be
if the
wonderful
masts fall,
for the sea life.
Oh,
I mean, the marine life is probably flourishing.
if the
in wake of
masts
that.
fall, they could hit the cargo load and set the whole thing off. So they're trying to remove the masts. But each time they've tried to plan this, they have things that go scan the seafloor and the area in preparation, and they find bombs just hanging out on the seafloor where they need to like get cranes in there to try to do this. And so then they had to spend all this time trying to clear these objects that many of them turn out to be explosives that are just laying around on the seafloor. And so for the last few years, they've been trying to do this, get rid of the masts, and they can't even get near the ship. It's wild. So if at literally any point in time you hear about a tsunami hitting England, this is why. The SS Richard Montgomery is going to blow up at some point. It's just a matter of time. It's wild. I can't get over it. I can't. So this is the thing that blew my mind this past week.
Your excitement about the obliteration of this town of Kent is fascinating to me.
It's amazing to me. It's amazing. I feel like couldn't they just like evacuate Kent for like, a period of time and then just blow the fucking thing up? Because it's gonna happen. And so like at least prepare for it.
Wouldn't it make more sense to like get some ships and try to pull it out further away from the mainland?
Certainly not at this point. I mean, it's a wreck though. Like it's not just like a perfectly fine ship that can just float away nicely. It's a wreck. So
right,
like you try to pull it, some part's gonna come loose and just smash. As if any of these explosives go off, they're setting off all the others. Like you can't really touch it. Like it's so weird.
I feel like, again, like you said, evacuate Kent or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as crazy as 1,400 tons of munitions sounds, it's also not like end of days catastrophic munitions, right? Like, I feel like you should probably try to pull it away. How it's obviously just below the surface, or the mast wouldn't be sticking up, right?
Yeah.
But if you could just pull it deeper into the sea, then it wouldn't even matter anymore. You just blow it up.
I think pulling it deeper into the sea is a much bigger challenge than you're making it out to be. Like, pull it how? From what distance? Like, I mean, how do you do that and not blow yourself up? Like,
and what are you doing to the marine life at that point in time? There are things that live in the sea. This is their
And the thing
home.
is, it's not that the explosives are going to blow up the city directly. It's because it's going to be in the water. It will create a tsunami that will hit the shore. So even if you pull it further out, it's still gonna, that blast in the water is still going to have an effect. So it's literally a disaster waiting to happen. And it's unbelievable to me that this is just a thing that's just been hanging out for 75 years or something. And everyone, it's just there. It's just a thing that people live with. Wild. Anyway, so that's the most interesting thing that's happened to me this week is I learned about that.
Also, welcome in, Bondu, and what's up, my friend?
Hello.
It's also sort of similar to testing grounds, and you have all of these unexploded munitions in these testing grounds, and getting back to other people's land rights and stuff like that. Oh yeah, these are actually your lands, and we're supposed to give them back to you eventually, but we have all of this unexploded ordnance on there, and we don't feel like going through and trying to deal with all of that and do anything. We just better off to leave it there and not allow you to have your land back. Can't get much more U.S. than that, can it? That's our government. That's who he is. Yeah, that is an interesting story, an interesting tale, though, and we will see if we can work that into something somehow. That sounds like there's a story there to be told.
Certainly could be. Yeah.
America. Fuck yeah.
Not that story. That story nobody wants to hear. My week did not have anything dealing with unexploded munitions or whatever. But I will relate to you another wonderful customer service experience that I had. I have to ship a lot of stuff around the city. I use couriers all the time, and for the most part, I use rideshare couriers. So it's an app just like the things else. I got a package that needs to be picked up, and so hey, it pops up in one of the apps alongside Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and Uber Eats and wherever else you may be getting it. So I had a package going out, and I plug it in the thing, and it gets accepted, and I just tune out for like about 2 hours until I get a message that says, "Oh, your thing has been canceled because the dude who picked it up who accepted the gig, decided to never come and pick up the package, which was still sitting on my front porch." I'm like, oh, okay, great. I relist it. Now we're a little short on time, but I'm like, hey, somebody might be around the corner and get it there in the hour and a half or so before the business closes. So nope, that doesn't happen. It's still sitting out there. So I go, okay, let me cancel this. When I cancel it, they charge me $10. When they canceled on me, they didn't come by with a check for $10 or give me, hey, here's $10 credit to use next time. But if I cancel, I owe $10. Well, of course, first thing I do.
These motherfuckers.
It's bullshit is what it is. So first thing I do, of course, is I go to a different location now because the business is going to be closed. I get that in there, schedule it, boom, put it in there. I shit you not, 10 minutes later, somebody comes by and grabs the package. Of course, when it's not got a time limit anymore. Yeah, sure, somebody will come by and grab it. But I call customer service afterwards and say, hey, I think this is unfair. I want my $10. Not the most money in the world. It's not going to bankrupt me or anything, but I want my $10. And they're like, oh, well, email this credits department. So I email the credits department, who emails me back 2 days later, you should email customer service. This is not a credits thing. So I reply to them both on there. I'm like, I want my goddamn $10.
It's the most work you've done for $10.
No, not by a long shot. I am a stubborn man when I feel I've been wrong. But my point is, yeah, it's $10. You're going to give me the runaround and all of that, and I may have to send 50 emails and make 25 phone calls to get my $10 back. But and this is for all of you. If we could just like zoom in on me for this. No, okay. This is maybe on the we can edit that and do the edit cut, have it zoom in and whatever. But this is me just talking. Forget about everybody else. Forget about the people listening. Forget about the people on the internet. This is just you and me, C-level people at some of these companies that we're not going to name, like the big Fortune 100 company that owns this courier service. I understand that you have metrics, you have bean counters, you have people out there that say, hey, $10 for old Chuckles isn't going to mean a damn thing. Maybe you just won't get a fancy coffee today. But $10 from him and 100 or maybe 1,000 or maybe 100,000 people like him will add up to a nice tidy sum for us when all of this happens. And you know what? You're right. You guys are absolutely right. That is how the math works. But you know what? That does not work, Rook.
That is so bizarre.
As much as you're right, you are absolutely wrong. And that's all I have to say on that matter. But I will say that while I, for 1/4 of that had a giant face that was blocked out in the lower quarter quadrant by our scrolling message to remind you about our giveaway, the C-level people at these companies will in no way, shape, or form ever drink on the house. But those poor people that I actually have to talk to and interact and get aggravated at, and who have to listen to back to the tapes of me going, supervisor, give me a supervisor. Y'all today, drink on the house, okay? There we go.
Customer service people, frankly, always drink on the house.
Right? The people caught in the middle. They don't want to read that script they're given. They just have to read that script. I think our producer is quite concussed. I think that's what's going on here. The hammer
concussion
did
vision.
more damage.
It's probably the concussion.
Anyway, that is my customer service saga. That is Rook's Hammerhead Harpy saga. That is Violet's The Ship That Caused the Tsunami, the story that will soon be a one-shot on a channel near you. Thank you for listening and good night. No, we actually do have a real topic to talk about this evening. It's about stories, as a matter of fact, right? When we play TTRPGs, when we get together and play board games or do anything for that matter, it's not just about the game and the mechanics and in some cases trying to win, in some cases trying to tell a story. It's about the personal connections we make with other people while we're playing. And to me, that's my favorite part of the game. Not the sometimes it's that 20 minutes beforehand where we're all just like this, telling the stories about our week or reminding everybody what happened on the previous session of the game, or just talking about stuff. And most especially that 20, 30, an hour after the game where you're putting your metal dice away in your bag so that along with your dice tray that you have to protect the finish on your very special gaming table, while you're packing up whatever other accoutrement you brought with you, your computer, your notebooks, your everything else, you're talking about what happened that session. You're talking about things and you're just excited about it. And that's my favorite part, that bonding that goes on, the human experience. You just don't get that from playing a game by yourself in front of a computer or any of that sort of stuff. And that's what I find gets encapsulated in our epilogues, and why I'm so proud of those and love to see people go and watch those afterwards and all of that stuff. And so that's what tonight is about: bonding and socialization at the table. What do you guys? What are some elements of like our epilogues or other things that we do to bond that you find as important as the game?
Yeah, I mean, I also love the epilogues. I think they're really fun, especially because I mean, even when we've had like a new person at the table that maybe we haven't played with a lot, or just like a group that maybe a particular combination of people that we haven't had before, or something like that. Um, by the end of the little adventure that we've had, you know, different silly things have happened. We've seen how the players play with each other, the characters play off of each other. And so then going into the epilogue, we've sort of developed those bonds in some way, both in the fiction and in reality as players. And then the epilogue sort of frees us from the game a little bit, where it's not about like the rules aren't important of the game and that sort of thing. We're outside of that now, and it's just story, and it's just like, okay, like now that we all kind of see how our characters have related to each other and connections that we formed, what happens to those connections, and we can kind of just like spin that out however we want. And I think that it's a really fun way to end a session. I think it would be awesome if more people did it just on their own for fun, not necessarily recording it like we do. Like, I think it's a really cool way to end a session, to kind of wrap up, you know, who your characters are, and how you feel about them and how they feel about each other and that sort of thing. Um, yeah, I think they're a lot of fun.
Yeah. I I I definitely love the epilogues. They can be one of the most entertaining parts of what we do, but I also think that some of the figuring out who your character is and who in the party they might have known before the adventure,
Mhm.
that can lead to some really fantastic and really fun stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it just, you know, sometimes we'll pose a question to our players like, tell us about a time where your character uh, got somebody else in the group into trouble or something like that, and that can really lead to a lot of back and forth messaging between cast members and trying to figure out, hey, this is what you did, this is how you fucked me, my friend, and just expanding that's a lot of fun, and that's something that no one ever sees, right? Like
Mhm.
the public never sees that, but it's an entertaining part of a table of D&D.
Yeah, I think actually you and I, Rook, I think started a lot of our, like, we started talking one on one a lot of the game that we were in. Our characters knew each other at the beginning. It was decided that in the first session of that game, that first game that we ever played together, you know, our characters would be introed together as having been traveling together a little bit. So we talked for a while about what were they doing, what do they know about each other, and that sort of thing. And I feel like that was a big part of how you and I got to know each other, through that game, because we developed that connection between our characters. And so, yeah, again, it's another way that like it's not just about building character relationships; it also builds player relationships.
Yeah, and somehow or another, you decided that you liked me enough to continue talking to me. I don't even know how that happened. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But
It's a mystery.
I mean, I think what it comes down to is the those times, not necessarily the time in session, the time in character, but that's where we build the friendships, right? And at the end of the day, it's less about, oh, this thing that happened to this character or did, but those friendships you have with the people at the table, the other people that you're playing and telling the stories with, and just hanging. It's just, I mean, it's a socialization
Mm.
thing, and it's a fantastic way to yeah, hey, we're here to play the game, but hey, we're also here to hey, what's going on with you? How are you doing? How's the family? How's whatever, right? It's just there's a lot of that, and I will say I was playing for a little over a year with a DM online, and there, it was a pay for play table, so everybody was paying some money to come in there and play for this, 3 hour period or whatever it was. I don't remember what the exact timetable was, but the first 15-20 minutes of every session were just devoted to no nonsense, whatever was going on, and some crazy stuff was going on in some people's lives, and it really felt like, hey, this is the DM started that. The DM started telling some things that were going on, personal details on their journey and through life, and through other things, and what was going on with them, and it made that table a very open space and a safe space to be able to share details. And there were other people that came in, and it's an online table, so people drop, people come in, and all that.
Mhm.
And like, the first time, you don't necessarily know what to expect, but there were people that I saw come in, and like 2 or 3 sessions in, like very comfortable telling stories and details and things that you wouldn't tell somebody just around the bar having a couple drinks or
Mhm.
whatever. And fostering that kind of
Yeah.
environment around the table is good and helpful for people personally, especially people that are in certain situations or dealing with certain
Mhm.
things. But it also fosters and allows you to get in to play your game and your role play and be able to stuff and be comfortable with the other people at the table. And I think that's a good thing to do if you're ever running a table and you have disparate people in there, just to be able to encourage. Yeah, well, I mean, we're booking this as a 3.5 hour session instead of a 3 hour. In your first half hour, it's going to be nothing but nonsense. But and hey, if you don't like it, or you want to miss it, you want to come in a half hour late, it's fine. But we do this at the table to help out and encourage role play. When I do improv, and those of you who have ever done improv know that it always starts off with games, just games to get you. Their improv warm up exercises and games to get together and get you in before you go out there and try and play or perform. And I think that's an important thing to be done at a table, and that's maybe not done at enough D&D tables, where you're trying to maximize your money and your time per money, minutes of gameplay per dollar spent, or something like that. So
I do think to some extent it depends on, like, different people are looking to get different things out of their
oh,
games,
for sure.
and some people do just kind of want to, like, just straight up play the game. They're not as role play focused, or they're just not, people want different things out of their games, and that's fine. But it is something that I see usually as like the first red flag of, this maybe isn't the table for me, or maybe this isn't a player I'm going to get along with, is if they aren't really engaging on that level, if they are very focused on, like, this is what I want to do and I don't really care what everyone else has to say.
Right.
um but yeah, and I think too, one of the things I've noticed in a lot of groups that I've been in is, like, the break times too. If you take a little break, I'm sure everyone's had the experience. You take a little break, and then, either you don't need to take a break, or you come back. You and a couple of people come back before everyone comes back, and you're just kind of sitting there waiting for everybody else, and you just get to chatting, and like that. I feel like I've had a lot of interesting conversations with people, just like during a break, waiting for the rest of the group to come together, and just, hey, what are you up to? And it's just, it makes everything about the game better. Like you were saying, it makes people more comfortable, which helps with the role play as well, because role play can be intimidating for a lot of people.
Hmm.
Not everyone's an actor, not everyone is trying to be an actor.
Right.
And really, like, throwing yourself into the role play can be intimidating, even if you really want to do it. It can still be hard. And I think, yeah, having that socialization and having people get a little bit comfortable with each other makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. There's a you need to be relaxed. You need to be relaxed. You need to be comfortable. And it's tough not knowing anything about another person. Hopefully, every table out there does lines and veils, and there are subjects out there that are not to be gone into at that specific table. But you still don't know everything about people, and you're worried about saying the wrong thing or going too far, or doing two things, because to be interesting you have to push the envelope a little bit. You can't be pure vanilla, there's nothing there. You have to have a personality, and it's going to push the interaction envelope, and it's going to push the different people have different buttons. You don't know what you're going to be doing, so the more comfortable you are with the people at the table, the smoother that's
Or
going to
even just knowing that they're people who are gonna, laugh with you if you do something stupid, or who are just gonna kind of roll with it and encourage you to do ridiculous things and appreciate your efforts and not, sit there and roll their eyes at you or something like that.
You should have done this instead. Why would you do that?
Yeah, just knowing that they're the kind of people that you like hanging out with, that you want to hang out with, that goes a really long way.
Yeah, well, buddy, this is what I wanted to do, and it was my turn in combat, so you can kiss my whole ass. How about that? Oh, I'm
Once
sorry.
again-
Did I cause conflict in this Discord channel? I didn't mean to do so. My bad.
Once again, Rook's positive outlook on
Rum and
life
Coke,
comes
folks,
shining
rum
through. But yeah, there like I said, there are always ways to find and flags to be like, this may not be the table for me, or or whatever reason there may be conflicting things may not fit in as well. Because it's all well and good. You do the comedy thing, and then it's a deadly table, and two other characters die in there, and maybe you're the one. Yeah, they're giving you shit, but maybe there's a reason, and you feel a little bad for that, right? Maybe that we were playing in a one shot where the characters were all going to die anyway, and so it didn't make a difference what you did, right? There's just there always levels and ways different things can happen. But I think a little having socialization in there at the beginning, at the end, just doing different things makes it a tighter table, a more relaxed table, and it's the style game that I like to play. It makes that more fun on, like I said, on the both ends of it. Wrapping stuff up and doing a little extra and having that little bit of even if you don't have epilogues there. I mean, there are not a lot of tables that I play at where it's like, okay, that's where we're going to end for the evening, and you just hear ding, 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 ding of everybody leaving the Discord, right? I mean,
I've certainly been in some of those too. Like it's a business transaction. This is our 3 hours, and when the DM says we are done, I am out.
There's
and then there's a couple people just sitting in there. Well, what'd you think about that? Yeah, blah 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 blah. What's going on with you? Not much.
Right? There's there's different types of folks, and they're all great. You find the table that's right for you. But I like that.
They're not all great. People suck.
Everybody.
But if all of those people got together at a table together,
great.
Then so sincere.
I will say, as per the end of the nonsense, everyone except the C-level people in charge of customer service are great people, and you don't know their circumstances. Maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning for them, and they're like, yeah, sure, great, says over, I'm done, I'm out, and hit the exit button right as you end. That doesn't make them not great people. I'm not going to cast those kinds of aspersions. But I like a little chat afterwards. I like to talk, and yes, and you can take that however you want to take that. That was totally thrown out there for that purpose.
Chuck likes to talk a lot, y'all. Just so you know, Chuck likes
Chuck likes to talk a lot always, but but no, yeah, I think it's always nice after a game and it's usually been my experience, and I don't know if that's just because it's most tables or if it's just most tables that I stay with, but that, you know, at the end, yeah, as soon as like we're like, okay, that's the end of the session, everyone's like, oh god, what the hell just happened? Like everyone, that's when you get everyone reacting to like out of character reacting to everything that happened during the session. And you know, sometimes people and that can go on for like a long time after at the end of the session, and finally people are like, all right, seriously, I need to leave, sorry guys.
The dog needs to go out.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have ever seen a more reactionary fade away than the whatever the hell the name of that adventure was, the Moonstone Dragons, when we were finishing that up and everybody was in grayscale, like everybody was
drama,
like, whoa shit, what the fuck.
That one, there was a lot of good stuff, but I'll put out there the one that Wainwright did, the Swab in the Deck, the Dark Legion, a lot of the same stuff. And I think especially because there was a lot of conflict within the party.
Yeah, both of those games had
and
conflict.
And I think when you have that at the end of a one shot, at the end of a short adventure, at the end of whatever, and you've got we leave it with party angry at each other or doing things against each other. I think my personal thing to all of you DMs out there running things where that happens, end the story right there. Don't try and extend it and oh, well, if we go a little bit further, another 15, 20 minutes of role play, maybe we'll have a resolution to this. No, end it right there and then leave it the epilogue, that post session discussion about what could have happened or whatever it is. Don't to just leave it there, that the story ended with conflict happening, and hey, maybe you guys want to come back for another session and resolve that and play more, you know.
Of all the sessions that we've done here for the various causes that we're here to promote and raise funds for, of all the ones that we've done, Wainwright's swabbing the decks and the Moonstone Dragon thing, those are the two where afterwards everyone was like, yeah, these characters need to come back, like we need to do something else with these. Those are the two that most of the crew was like, hey, we probably need to revisit this.
I'll throw on top of that the Gobby Nobby incident. What was that?
Yes, the Goblin Noggin. That needs a part 2. That for sure.
More importantly, Cepha needs to find this treasure or die trying.
Yeah, this is like an ongoing saga of Cepha.
I'd like to see Cepha come back 865 times and keep trying and try. Oh yeah, but I've got this other thing. Okay, we'll do that. I've got this other. Oh, wait, okay, well, but we could. Okay, we'll just figure out what's going on here and get back to that later.
But I think an interesting point to what, the idea of socialization with the group and at the table is those games where we had inter-party conflict. I think it was really fun, and we definitely, behind the scenes, like during breaks and after the game, it was very like, oh my god, that is amazing that your character did that, and like, oh, like I totally get why your character is so pissed at me. That's awesome. Like it's very like chatting about it and really appreciating how everyone's playing their own characters for, in a particular way. So it's like in the story, your characters are like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. But then then the break hits and we're like, that was so cool.
there is so much energy. Don't be afraid. I mean, it's the same thing. Like you're doing improv, and the mantra for improv, the big thing is always yes and. But that doesn't mean you can't have conflict.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't disagree with the other player. It just means you have to accept the reality that they're creating and don't try and wipe away their reality. Some of the best stuff in improv, some of the best stuff in TTRPGs is the conflict. It's the conflict and the resolution and where that ends up taking your characters and your character relationships afterwards. So don't be afraid to have that conflict. Also, but in your session 0, talk about make sure you always talk about PvP. Is that acceptable? And what are the conditions there? So the as long as that's all resolved and everybody's on board with that, you can still have conflict without PvP, but know where the line is and what you're doing what you're doing with it. But yeah, conflict.
I think it's don't allow the conflict to make someone else uncomfortable or detract from what the DM is trying to do and derail their story, right? But bringing conflict into a game can be super fun for the entire party.
Yeah.
You know,
If everyone has that level of comfort with each other, like we were talking about, where we know it's conflict in the game, it's conflict in the story, it's not conflict between the players.
The conflict and growth. Conflict gives you growth, and it makes things more interesting. Just trying to always be party against everyone is not as interesting as party against everyone, but also party against party at times, and trying to figure fighting a war on multiple fronts is makes the story more interesting. I'll say in the same thing where Game of Thrones was more interesting than the story in Dance of Dragons, because Dance of Dragons has two sides and they're opposing each other. Game of Thrones had like 8,652 sides, and everyone was on their own island, and it made it more interesting, Yeah, on that score, I feel like we are closing in toward the end of an hour, which is, our usual time limit. We expire after an hour. And as was mentioned, there is a Yankee game on. So we need to go watch.
Everyone just wants to leave to go watch the Yankee game.
I mean, some of us don't actually have to leave to watch the Yankee game. There are multiple monitors.
Mine's in the other room.
With that, we want to thank everybody for listening to us ramble and all of our nonsense, and impart some of what we may think our wisdom is to the masses. And you can catch us here a week from now. We will be having theoretically having a fantastic adventure, and please join us on all of our socials. You can grab our beacons, you can do comment here, follow us on YouTube and comment there, join the Discord and like stuff and comment over there, and we will put you in the running for some fabulous, fantastic prizes as we go down the road to 1,000 followers. Yay, says
Yay.
So, not to derail your outro, Chuck, but what the fuck is a beacon?
So, for those of you who have no idea what a computer is, there's a thing called beacons, and that's where all of your social media is listed, and you can see all of your links there in one place. And
so it's like a link tree.
It is exactly like a free version of Linktree, just like Discord is basically a free version of Slack.
Now I understand.
Yeah,
follow us on our beacons that are up there right this second.
Yeah, follow our social media. You can find it there. And in the meantime,
also, oh, never mind. I just failed at typing in chat. So
also, don't root for the Guardians, because F them guys, and be a Yankees fan, because we're real cool. And that'll be it for us tonight. Y'all have a good night.
Remember, hit points are not required to enjoy a tasty beverage. Good night, everybody. We love you all.